Uas G'm knows that this is the end of the line. That is where she is at, in so many more ways than one, she and the others beside her. The gritty ground is rough on her bent knees, and to her right and left she can feel the psychic presences of those of her brothers and sisters, unfortunate enough to have put their trust and their lives in her ill judgment, in her incapable hands. Not many left now, for this sequence started some time ago. Strung out laterally on either of the Farseer's sides, they are all on their knees now, and soon enough will lay sprawled in haphazard heaps, united in intermingling pools of leaking lifeblood, denied all further purpose. United in meaningless, arbitrary uniquity of pose. On both sides, closer now, the soft hum of uncoiling monofilament, then the wet churn of brains liquefying, followed swiftly by a simultaneous, twosome spiritual decoupling. It hurts. A two-voiced psychic shriek pierces her mind as the essences of Uas's followers are drunk by she who waits patiently beyond the veil, while the harlequins execute them two by two in agonizing, drawn-out rituality. Drunk, like how falling droplets are drunk by the ocean, served up like sweetmeats by the uncaring hand of gravity. She hurts. Then the doubled thud as another pair slacken and fall. It never hurt before. Or maybe she had just been blind to it. They had stolen the stones beforehand. Damn them, the leering fanatics, in their sickening motley, had gathered them all up in a dirty, off-color sack. Configurations of salvation reduced to dead loot, the sorrowing spoils of unjustifiable, pointless homicide. Why would they even do that? Just to be cruel, the cowards. Cruel, evil, murderous cowards, the whole lot of them. Unthinking cultists, moving like marionettes to the whimsical tune of their hiding coward god. Or was it she who had been the coward, never looking back once, never pausing to reflect? So focused had she been on her duties to her kin. Another two thuds, closer now. She had lost herself on the witch path, she realizes, lost herself for real. She guesses now that is what it always meant to be a Farseer. Oh, Isha, had the warlocks always regarded her the way she had regarded the aspect warriors regarding their exarchs, with eyes full of grudging respect, albeit with onus on the grudging. Grudging died in mourning for someone who isn't quite there anymore, someone who is living dead. Again, closer now, two of her siblings die in staged synchrony, put down like cornered beasts, can't be long left now until they get to her, until it is her turn in line. The psychic presences are shrinking in number at an indomitable pace. The multiplicitous branchworks had had their beauty to them, she had always thought, a mesmerizing and baleful beauty, and she wonders how long ago it was that she herself had died in the eyes of those around her. Throwing her mind too far into the future and always pushing it ahead, before ever managing to quite catch up with it. Always focus all of one's eyes toward the ever-cleaving futures, and one blinds oneself not only to the present, but to the past, perhaps more so. Always focus on threats forwarding, and you never see the one coming up from behind. Not until the tip of his kiss presses itself against the back of your head before sliding in with a complete lack of effort, before your brain and mind turn to juice. Another two soft hums in perfect unison now, another two emptied vessels thudding wetly to the ground. They don't even blame her fellows. The poor things, even as they are plucked like unwanted flowers to weed out the garden rose, shot like amphibian arthropods in a wet barrel. What bothers her the most is the sheer gracelessness of it all, the grimy filthiness of what these, ostensibly her would-be cousins, have been fashioned into by their mean and cowardly idiot god. Why can't they see? Why don't they strive, like she always has, to preserve the embers of Isha's burning tears in the face of the dreadsome, always encroaching cosmic night? Kinslayers and murderers all, she would have pitied them, would have, had she not been so consumed by all her hatred and disgust. She remembers the one time that they had come to her craft world. She had been but a bud herself at that point, in her brief period of youth, before she had learned about responsibilities, learned about duty. She remembers still how her parents had been so afraid, scared out of their wits. They had guided her to the center point of their personal chambers and told her not to move, then donned their guardian suits and taken up station by the entranceway, shuriken catapults at the ready. As her parents had instructed, she had curled up and covered her ears, sucking in shallow breaths through the recycler mask strapped around her face, her field of vision obscured by the visor. When they came, they would bombard the craft world with airborne poisons, her parents had told her. Poisons that make one go insane, make you turn on one another. The drumbeats and cymbals echoing from outside had been deafening, even though she had pressed her hands to the sides of her head in coverage of her sensitive ears, had waited in terror while her parents had stood in uniform with their armaments trained on the doorway. As time dragged on, that had been before what eventually became of her parents, before she herself had taken to the path of grief. She had almost lost herself on that path before finding her salvation as a seer. Some salvation, it turned out. Just another path to get lost on. The psychic signatures of her mates beside her are all gone now. She's the only one left. Fitting. Are you, done yet? Uas looks up, framed by a greenish cowl, sun and moon trinkets dangling on either side of the darkened aperture. She beholds a face wrought from all her horrors. It is the face of her father, the face of her mother, the face of her murdered warriors and comrades, her own face too, contorted in an insane cannibalistic grin. The hour is as late as it is early. The lips don't move. The voice is inside her head. No matter how far into the future you ever peered, no matter how carefully you ever planned or plotted, let me ask you this one time. Uas grits her teeth in a final act of meaningless defiance. Did you ever see this coming? The murderer's ringleader cocks its head. Uas fears her teeth might crack. No matter. The cowled figure brandishes its stave, crowned by an unholy effigy wrought in the likeness of a skeleton's face, and makes a swift and subtle gesture with its other hand. Uas screams as they grab a hold of her and wrench the ghost helm off her skull.